Welcome to Introduction to E-commerce. Today is about Chapter 3, Building an E-commerce Presence. So there are three objectives that we're going to learn. First, to explain the process that should be followed in building an e-commerce presence. Second, identify and understand the major considerations involved in choosing web server and e-commerce merchant server software. And lastly, identify additional tools that can improve website performance. So when people try to think or try to conduct online e-commerce, right, they have to think there needs a way or purpose to build an e-commerce website. So we have to go via a systematic approach. So what we have to do first is about most important management challenges. They have to develop a clear understanding of the business objective, and they have to know how to choose right technology to achieve those objectives. So what to do? So the main areas where you will need to make decisions, for example, from humans resource and organizations capabilities. They have to think. They have to need a team with a skill that need to build and manage successful website. The second factor they have to consider about the software and hardware. The third is about telecommunications infrastructures, and number four is about the site design about your e-commerce website. So when we try to think about to hosting a website, right, then you have to choose. Either you have that kind of mindset, build or host your own website, or you have to outsource the service to the third party. For example, what is about the outsourcing? So outsourcing is about hire vendor to provide services involved in the building site. The second philosophy have to think when you need to build your own, or you have to think about outsource. So build your own is require a team with a diverse skill set. For example, choice of the software, and of course they have to think about the risk and possibility benefit. Then how about your host by your own? For example, you can run your e-commerce site by hosting by outsourcing. For example, hosting company is responsible for ensure the site is accessible 24 hours by 7. Of course, is charged monthly fee or annual fees. And the second option, you can choose co-location. For example, firm purchase or lease website with control over its operation, but server is located at a vendor facility. So in order to attract your potential customer, right, to visit to your site, there are some factors used to optimization. So they can use to rank your site, draw more internet traffic to visit your e-commerce page. For example, you can try to think from page delivery, for example, content delivery networks, each caching and bandwidth. And then of course from the other smart view, right, maybe you can think about page generations, server response time, device-based acceleration, efficiency, resource allocation, resource utilization threshold, and monitoring site performance. And of course lastly is about the page content. Normally people using optimized HTML, optimized image, site secure, efficient page style. So this is the factors have to consider when your team try to build about e-commerce website. So the next slide we are looking more in depth is about the e-commerce architectures or multi-tier websites architectures. For example, system architecture is used to arrangement of software, machineries, and tasks in an information system need to be achieved a specific function. Two-tier, for example, they are support with web server and database server. Multi-tiers, of course they have more web application server backend legacy database. So this is a tooltip. For example, on our left hand side is about the user access the e-commerce site either through PC desktop or through mobile devices. Then they will go through the web server to process certain query, and they will retrieve the server from content management server. So on the next slide is about the multi-tier e-commerce architectures. It can vary from organizations to organizations, and of course on our left hand side on the top layer, right, when the incoming internet request sent through PC or desktop or mobile or applets, and they will send to go to the server. The next, they will go through maybe tier by tier and layers by layer. Then they will go through e-commerce server, application server, database server, ad servers, or mail server. And of course, if they are even more complex, right, they can go to the backend layer. For example, they can go through corporate applications, finance, productions, MRP, enterprise system, in the HR system. So single layers and single tier or multi-tiers applications e-commerce architectures, right, they might be complex, or you can choose as simple as, but of course it depends on your company's budget. So what is a website server? So on the previous slide we mentioned there are two streams of the website web server software. So the first one is Apache. It's a leading web server software and it's worked in Linux operating system. Of course it's reliable, stable, part of an open software community. The second stream is about the Microsoft Information Server. It's the second major web server software. Of course, it belongs to Microsoft Windows based, and integrated and easy to use. So, what is the basic function provided by web server? Right, first, they are processing of HTTP requests. So they are receive and respond to client requests for HTML pages. Second function, right, they are trying to provide security services. For example, they have to go through secure socket layer or transport layer security. So they are verify username and password, process certificates and private public key information required for credit card processing and other secure information. The third functionality is about file transfer protocol, permits transfer of very large file from server to server. And fourth functionality is about search engine, is indexing of the site content, keywords search capability. And the fifth is about the data captures. They will log file of all visit, time, duration, and referral source. And the sixth functionality is about the email. So we can send, receive, and store email messages. And number 6 is about the site management tools. Is calculate and display key site statistics such as your unique visitors, batch requests, and original requests, and check on the link. So site management tools. Basic tools include in all web server, verify that links on pages are still valid, identify open files. Of course, normally is provided by third-party software or for advanced and management. For example, monitor customer purchasing, market campaign efficiency, and so on. Of course, there are certain software. For example, you can using WebFrame Analytics version 10 to monitoring the traffic, and then Unix URL where the traffic is coming from, where is site, what kind of activity, which page is their favorite page. So the next tools is about dynamic page generation tools. It's the dynamic page generation content stored in database and fetched when is needed. So there are certain popular tools. For example, CGI is Common Gateway Interface, ASP, Active Server Page, JSP is Java Servlet Page, ODBC, JDBC. So they also have certain advantages. For example, they will lower manual costs. Second, they permit easy market segmentations and enable cost-free pricing discriminations. And of course, it supported content management system. So what's about the application server? Web application server provides specific business functionality required from a website. Normally, they have types of middleware, isolated business application from web server, and database. They have single function application being replaced by integrated software tools that combine all functionality needed from e-commerce site. So, e-commerce merchant server software is provide some basic functions for sale. For example, online catalog is used to list products available on the website. Second, shopping carts allow online shopper to assign, review, edit selections, and then make purchase. And lastly, it's also help to perform credit card processing. Typically work in conjunction with shopping carts, and verified cards are put through credits to the company's account at checkout. So our merchant server software packages is used to integrated environment that include most of the function needed. There are key factors in selecting packages. First thing, they have to consider functionality. Second, they have to think whether it support for different business model, include m-commerce. Third, processing, business process model tools, visual site management and reporting, performance and scale, connectivity to the existing business, compliances with standard, global and multicultural capabilities, local sales tax and shipping rules. So sometimes in order to run commercial e-commerce site, the merchants also face certain difficulty, especially for financial support. If let's say they would like to have it, so is there any alternative? Yes, no problem, they can go for open source option. For example, host e-commerce site, for example, offer site building tools and template. For example, they can go for Yahoo Store Basic, or maybe they can go for open source merchant server software, enable you to build trust truly custom site, and is require programmer with expert also. So the next, in order to perform e-commerce site, you have to choose your hardware wisely. So it's about the platform. Normally, underlying computing equipments need for e-commerce functionality, and the objective enough platform capacity to meet peak demand without wasting money. This is very important to understand the factors that affect speed, capability, and scale of a site. So resize your hardware platform, the demand side. For example, from customer point of view, customer demand. Most important factor affect speed of site. So factors in overall demand, number of simultaneous user in peak hours, nature of customer requests, type of content, dynamic versus static website. Of course, is required security, number of items in invention, number of page requests, speed of legacy applications. So the next is about scalability. Is able or we say that ability of site to increase in size as demand warrants. So ways to scale hardware, for example, vertically increase processing power of individual component, horizontal, and block multiple computers to share workload, improve processing architectures, outsource to Cloud Service (CDN). So this is verticals and horizontal scaling techniques. For example, use a fast computer, deploy each server, presentation server, data server, etc. Second techniques, create a cluster of computer. Use computer in parallel to balance load. Number 3, use application server. Use special purpose computer optimization for their tasks. 4, segment workload. Segment incoming work to specialized computer. 5th, batch requests. Combine related requests for data in group, process as group. Manage connections. Reduce connections between process and computer to a minimum. Aggregate user data. Aggregate user data from legacy application in single data work cache. Store frequent use data in cache rather than on the hard disk. So another way to improve the processing architectures of your site. So architecture improvement. So we have to separate static content from dynamic content. Use specialized server for each type of workload. Second, cache static content. Increase RAM to the gigabyte range and store static content in the RAM. So cache database lookup table. Use cache table used to look up database record. Consolidate business logic on dedicated server. Put shopping cart, credit card processing and other CPU intensive activity on dedicated server. Optimize ASP code. Examine your code to ensure it's operating efficiently and optimize the data scheme. Examine your database search time and take steps to reduce access time. So there are also other e-commerce site tools used to boost up your e-commerce site and help your e-commerce. So website design. So normally we know that it's a basic business consideration. It's enable customer to find and what they need. For example, tools for website optimization. So search engine placement. So you can use a meta tag in the HTML. Identify market niche, localize sites, offer expertise, link by apps and local e-commerce. So e-commerce website features that annoy customer. Is require user to view ad or flash instruction before go to the website. So better don't do that. Pop up and pop under ads and windows. Too many clicks to get the content. Link that's not work. Confusing navigation, no search function. Require register and log in before viewing content or orders. Slow load page. Content that is out of date. So better don't do that. So or maybe there's another reason. Maybe in abilities to use a browser back button, no contact informations, unnecessary splash screen animations, music or other video play automatically, unprofessional design element, text not legible due to the size, color, typographical errors, no or unclear return policy. So this is the things that make user well resistant to visit or go to view about your website. So better don't do that. So of course there are 8 important things, factors that make your website successful. So we have to consider about functionality, page that load quickly and point to the customer toward your product offering. Second, informational links that customer can easily find to discover more about you and your products. Ease of use, simple foolproof navigations, redundant navigation, alternative navigation to the same content, ease of purchase, 1 or 2 click to purchase, multi-browser functioning. Site works with the most popular browser, for example, IE, Internet Explorer, Firefox, Opera, Safari, and the next factors is about the simple graphics. Avoid using distracting, ominous graphics and sound that the user cannot control. and legible text, avoid background that distort text or make it illegibly. So tools for interactive and active content, because website, e-commerce website, I believe is a two-way communication. So there are certain tools helps to do interactivities and active content. For example, Common Gateway Interface (ASP), Java, JSP, JavaScript, ActiveX, VBScript, Confusion, PHP, Ruby on Rails, Django, others web elements, widgets, mashup. So this is the tools can help to generate traffic by having a two-way interaction between the user and the server. So of course we also need personalization tools, because it's able to treat people based on personalization's qualities and real history with site. So of course we need certain customizations is able to change the product to better fit the needs of the customer, and cookies primary methods to achieve personalizations. And of course although we are also keep certain informations, so we have also to make sure that the informations your site have certain policy set. Those privacy policy set of the public statement declare how the site is treat customer personal information that is gathered by site. Of course they have a set of the rules, accessible rules. They have the site of design objective that ensure disabled people can effectively access to the website. So I just make a conclude about this website. It's just about introduce us about the factors that can cause to the e-commerce website reputations, and of course they have certain information and policy so that they can make a clear cut between the business rules and trading. And of course we know that there's certain software, right, and it can help your website become more interacts and more dynamics. And lastly, the merchants or the seller have to know that the objective they're running the business. Do they have to own their business, or they have to outsource the service to the third-party software? Thank you.